I've been putting off this video for months by now, but let's talk about this. Okay, this is the iPhone 7 and I've been literally using this for the past 5 years, even though I have better phones around with me. But you may ask why? If you're a minimalist, you're literally gonna hate me for carrying 2 phones around every single day. I know it's very annoying, right? Okay, before I start, if you guys like this vloggers type review that I'm doing right now, do comment down below because I want to do more of this. I just want to know how this turned out for you guys. I don't know if it looks good. I can't even see myself half the time. I'm pretty sure I'm out of focus right now. Who knows? But I just want to know your opinions. I want to know if this video turned out good. If it did, let me know in the comments. Even drop a like, it'll help me a lot. And yeah, let's get back to the video.
Okay, you know what? Let me just get over the specs. Time to wrap. There's a 4.7-inch IPS display with the 7-megapixel front camera on the top alongside the earpiece, which also doubles as a speaker. On the bottom we have the home button with Touch ID, and let me just tell you this, Touch ID is so fast. On the back there's a 12-megapixel camera flanked by a quad LED True Tone flash. On the bottom there's a lightning port alongside the speakers and the microphones, and as you can see the aluminum body has held up fine for the most part. If you look around, it's literally dented in every corner. What did you expect? Now, you may ask, why do I still use this iPhone in 2021 and going into 2022? I actually do have a better phone around, but I have observed that I have actually used that phone very less compared to this iPhone. I mean, even now, I don't take that phone out half the time. I just keep it inside and I just use the iPhone half the time. It's just way more convenient, which I'll talk about right now in a minute. And you know what? It does nail the basics right for me, which are taking calls, listening to music on the go, chatting with friends and family, checking my socials, which this thing is great at, taking good photos and videos, and for those tasks, the iPhone 7 is still a solid phone. Now yes, it does lack a lot of newer features in many phones. Heck, it still has massive bezels on the top and bottom. Or let's not even talk about how bad the battery life is, which, for a 5-year-old iPhone would be horrible, and you're not wrong.
Also, before all that, I actually thought of vlogging this entire video on the iPhone 7, but I actually couldn't. There's a reason to it, which I'll talk about in a hot minute, because it's really interesting. It's really weird. Speaking of which, let me talk about all the issues I have with the iPhone 7 right now. They're not a lot, so it's fine. I won't rant a lot. You guys can chill. Okay?
The biggest one for me would be the battery life. It's just bad now. When I first got it back in 2016, it lasted me for a whole day. I had to charge it in the end or charge it in the evening on heavier days. But now it would just last me about 3 hours. And that's on light use, which would be listening to music or using Instagram. If I do what I do on my main phone, which are shooting videos, using multiple apps in the background, watching YouTube videos, or even having mobile data on and browsing on and on, it would barely last me an hour. And I'm not even gonna lie, I just use Wi-Fi and it still lasts me an hour or two. And as you can see, here's the battery health after 5 years of use. 74 does not sound bad, but it's still horrible. It's horrible, trust me. You cannot survive with this phone for a whole day. Now the next issue I'm going to talk about is not that common, but if you recall what I said a while back, I mentioned how I could not record the vlog on the iPhone 7. That's because the microphone on my iPhone does not work. And the gist of it is the audio controller on the 810 Fusion had stopped working. Now this is a small issue with how the audio controller works on the iPhone 7. So this isn't really that common, and this happened to me about a few months back. So for the most part, this is a very niche issue. As for my iPhone, you cannot replace the microphone to fix this issue. You have to replace the entire motherboard to fix this issue. I have no other choice but to record videos without any audio in them. Even external microphones do not seem to work. As you can see here, it does not even pick audio at all. It does not even let me record the audio in the first place.
As I said before, I only have a few issues with the iPhone 7 because I actually have a lot of positives to talk about this phone. This phone is amazing, to be honest. Let's start out with the design because I love this design, I'm not gonna lie.
Now back in 2016, this is particularly not a small phone, but now in 2021, in my opinion, it's tiny, and that's a good thing in my opinion. Because I can just slide this into any pocket or one hand operate it without the fear of dropping it.
Look how thin this thing is, dude. It's like 7.1 millimeters thin, that's so thin.
Yes, I use it without any cover or any form of protection because I know I would not be dropping it by accident. But yes, it's built solid enough, and this is also the first iPhone to get an IP67 water resistance rating. Though I would really not trust it near water now, since I'm pretty sure the water resistance would have weakened over the past 5 years, and I'm really scared of dropping this phone on water now. I'm pretty sure it's not going to take it in a good way.
Not just that it's so thin and light, it's so refreshing to use a phone that's tiny, to be honest. As I said before, it's tiny, teeny, it's easy to grab in the hands. It's such a good thing that this phone has bad battery life, because I wouldn't be using it much when I'm outside with it, obviously. I don't go out every time with just the iPhone 7 because probably it'll die by the end of the day, as I said.
Okay, now who can forget about iOS when you're talking about an iPhone? Currently, the iPhone 7 runs iOS 15, and judging by Apple's track record, it's probably gonna get updates till 2023 or even longer. That's basically 7 years of software support. Isn't that insane? What about the experience? I would say it's solid enough with some minor gripes. Okay, your general tasks are gonna run pretty smooth, albeit with some lag, but other than that, there are a few bugs here and there, but those are mostly iOS 15 related. I've not seen them when I was running iOS 14 at all.
Speaking of which, the real reason why I still use this phone is for, drum rolls please, making shots, Instagram Reels and TikTok. Now, obviously, I think this topic has been beaten to death by many people, but it's no shocker that iPhones are the best device for making content. As much as I love Android, I hate to admit that it sucks for shooting videos. Any phone, let it be the Galaxy S20, the Pixel 6, whatever, you get my point. Any of those phones, they also all have great cameras, I'm not gonna lie, but when it comes to point and shoot, I feel like the iPhone wins, hands down. There is no question, it's just so easy to shoot a video on. Speaking of which, do follow me in these platforms, I make great content. It'll be much appreciated if you guys drop a follow as well. Just look at my content, I don't care, but drop a follow, it'll be much appreciated by me.
I mean, it's no secret that the apps have been made with iPhone in mind. So it's very streamlined and optimized, and it gets to take advantage of Apple's image signal processing on the camera, which means you get great photos and videos straight from these apps, and the ease of use just strikes the balance for me. I don't need to fumble around the native camera app or let's say the Instagram app to decide how I'm gonna take a video. It's gonna turn out great even if I use the Instagram app. And as a creator who wants to get as much as content out as possible, that's what I would prefer to have compared to, shooting on the native camera app then editing it separately. Okay, my favorite part out of all of this is the camera. The specs really don't justify it that much. It's a single 12 megapixel camera with f1.8 aperture and OIS. On the front, there's a 7 megapixel camera with f2.2 aperture and no OIS, of course. It can shoot 4K video at up to 30 fps and 1080p video at up to 120 fps. Keep in mind that the front camera can only do 1080p at 30 fps. Now the iPhone 7 Plus technically has the better camera back then, but right now we're only going to talk about the iPhone 7 over here. So what about the photos? Daytime shots are crisp and sharp. The dynamic range is on point. On low light, it holds itself up pretty well. It's obviously no iPhone 13 Pro level good, but considering how old it is and the lack of any newer computation photography techniques like night mode or deep fusion, it's solid enough. Now to be honest with you, any phone can take great photos under great lighting.
But what I really like about this iPhone, and as I said before, is video. It's pretty great. It's amazing. In fact, this whole video is shot on an iPhone. I literally shoot all my videos on a phone.
The video features are again not the best right now. It can do 4K videos at up to 30 fps, which is good enough. What I really like are the colors it reproduces, and they're very accurate, and how good it holds itself up in low light is very impressive. It's not just the rear camera, it's also the front camera which still fails to not impress me. I really love the accurate colors it produces with no skin beautifications at all, and even the video, which is really good. Now again, it's just 1080p at 30 fps, but it has accurate colors, which is all I need for recording those TikToks sometimes.
Okay, in conclusion, if you're thinking of buying an iPhone for small tasks like this, browsing the web, checking Instagram and shit, taking snaps, I think the iPhone 7 is a great phone, and that's what I use it for. So yeah, I mean it's a great phone for that use case. But if you want to really use this phone as a main device, like a daily driver, I think that's a hard pass, because the bad battery life will come at its play every time. It doesn't matter if it's at like 98% health and everything. This is a very old phone. It's a tiny battery inside. It's gonna die in a whole day. Not a whole day, in like probably 5 hours. It's a bad battery, as I said. But other than that, the whole phone is great, to be honest. It's usable in 2021. And which phone do you think is usable in 2021 from 2016? I think this is the only phone I find which is usable. I mean, okay, people might say even the Google Pixel or the Galaxy S7 from 2016 is usable. I'd agree, but are they as good as this right now in 2021? That's a no. I still feel the iPhone 7 is a great phone for anyone who wants a backup iPhone. So I think I've covered most of what I wanted to say about the iPhone 7 and what I feel about it. If you guys enjoyed this vlog-ish type video I just did today, as I said, drop a comment down below. Tell me how this video turned out, because I don't know if I'm out of focus half the time. I'm pretty sure I'll know after I did this video. But anyways, this is Sankew, and I'll see you guys in the very next video. Peace. My god, it's actually hard shooting these videos, I'm not gonna lie.